Guys, a couple of weeks ago, as most of you probably felt the same way. I had no interest in Survivor Series. The card was dreadful. It just felt thrown together. There was no stakes. This nothing really felt like worthy of watching this show. My friends talk about just not really watching Survivor Series, at least watching Takeover War Games. We knew that was gonna be a good show. But WWE tended to pull it off. WWE has made myself, my Horseman brothers, a lot of people want to watch Survivor Series. I'm excited for Survivor Series. And last night's Raw was good, but tonight's episode of SmackDown, I thought was even better. This was a really good show. There was nothing really on this whole show that felt like it did not matter at all. And that was filler. It was great. I love this episode of SmackDown. One of the best episodes of SmackDown we've probably seen, I'd say, probably since either the Sin City episode or a couple of the shows leading up to SummerSlam. Those were good as well, or at least before SmackDown started to tank when Road Dogg took over writing. But either way, I can't take away whoever wrote this show tonight. This show was awesome. I loved it, and it got me excited for this Sunday for Survivor Series. There was a couple, predictable things that did happen on this episode, but either way, I'm not going to let that tarnish it completely. I still loved it. It was great. Let's get right to the show. We're reviewing the November 14th, 2017 edition of SmackDown Live that took place in Charlotte, North Carolina. Woo! Home of the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, and his daughter, Charlotte. And may I say also, sorry, I got a little bit of a tickle in my throat there. May I say also, my goodness, did I feel like the crowd was hot tonight. We had a really good crowd, I felt, in Charlotte tonight. And, it never really felt dead at any point. It was just always into it. Cool Caleb in the live chat says, SmackDown under siege. You bet. That was an awesome ending as well. We had, sorry, I got a little cough here. But, my goodness, where we start here? We start off with the SmackDown locker room backstage chatting with Shane McMahon, the commissioner, addressing them, saying how he says Survivor Series, the roster first, fired the first shot and accomplished something that's never been done before when they put Raw under siege last month. And tonight he knows that Raw will possibly retaliate finally, which it was pretty obvious that they were. I mean, I kind of wish they would have done something a little bit sooner than when they did. But, again, I'm going to take it for what it was. It was still, cool to see. And he said it's something that'll be known as the dominating brand, not the A show, not the B show, the show. He asked Becky Lynch how she feels about Asuka and said she's going to break the SmackDown. How Asuka said she's going to break the SmackDown roster. And Becky said the only thing that's going to be broken is Asuka's arm. Baron Corbin, Cena Cara asked about, since they had the match tonight, they're going to shut the Miz up. And Corbin says it'll be his end of days, of course. Shane talks about Triple H being added to the team, but he says they have the greatest team in Survivor Series history, the addition of 16-time world champion John Cena, which he did not appear on the show tonight. Now, I'm still just wondering, what made John Cena decide to pick SmackDown over Raw. I was hoping we'd get an answer tonight, but we may not get an answer until either at Survivor Series or after Survivor Series. I don't know, it could be just as simple as, Raw didn't really need me, so, I wanted an opportunity, so SmackDown gave me the opportunity, whatever. So, whatever, but either way, I would like to have seen an answer. So he says, with how dominant this team's going to be, nobody can stop them. Not Kurt Angle, not Stephanie, and not even The Shield. And then Kofi Kingston got on the mic saying that they're not worried about The Shield. And they said, and Xavier Woods on the mic and says they're accepting a challenge. And why they accept it? Because SmackDown rocks. SmackDown rocks. SmackDown rocks. They were dancing as, the meeting came to a close. So that was a fun little thing to see start off the show. And then we go to the arena, and Daniel Bryan makes his return. It's the first time we see Daniel Bryan since a few weeks ago. He was chokeslammed by Kane in a dark room. He came there, and he said he's lucky to be standing here after being chokeslammed by by Kane. He said it's his fault partially for going to Raw because he didn't tell anybody and he was just trying to make peace. But he should have known better because he saw Stephanie McMahon there. And Stephanie's up to no good whenever she's around. And we found that pretty obvious. But he said there's the thing about him in SmackDown. They don't stay down. He was young. He never stayed down. They got back up and hit twice as hard, and that's why Raw is scared enough to add Triple H to the Survivor Series team. They're not afraid, but they're just embarrassed because the 25th anniversary of Raw is coming up, and SmackDown just ransacked over Raw. They came down and they just tore the house down. And he didn't agree with them doing that because he knows how vindictive Stephanie can be, and he knows that there's a good chance that Raw is going to counter tonight. SmackDown though isn't afraid though. They're prepared and ready, and he says that's why he bleeds Team Blue. He's proud to be representing this show and what it stands for. They're going to go beyond the shadow of a doubt, be the better team and outdo Monday Night Raw. He said with that said, a lot can change in a week. And then he mentioned how John Cena got added to the men's 5-on-5 elimination team, and then he also announced a big change, introducing the phenomenal AJ Styles, our new WWE champion. He comes out, but then and then as the crowd's chanting it, he said he would like to treat his champion good or better than Raw does, and the champion of the universe has his own personal advocate. So just for tonight, would it be okay, AJ, if you had his own personal advocate? And AJ's like, okay, go for it. So then Daniel Bryan pretty much tries playing the role of Paul Heyman, saying, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Daniel Bryan. And he talks about what Paul Heyman talked about last night is 5 points for the WWE Network. He agreed with all of them except for one, point F5, about AJ Styles being, physically brutalized, victimized, and conquered by Brock. He says, I can see why you think that, because Brock Lesnar is, has a physical. He's big and strong, but he says he shot on Lesnar, saying Lesnar doesn't have a tendency to quit. He quit WWE years and years ago and quit to a really weak-looking knee bar in UFC. Anytime Brock is in trouble, it gets uncomfortable, he gets into deep waters, he quits. And AJ's going to push him into deep waters. And then you can bet you can only last 10 minutes and Brock will get pushed against the walls and mentally quit. Pretty much signifying here that, Brock Lesnar may be big and strong, but mentally he's not strong at all. So pretty much saying that's how AJ is going to overpower him. And then but AJ starts talking. And he says, I'm not a puppet. I can talk, unlike how Brock Lesnar can't. And then he says, fatigue makes puppets of us all, and it might take Lesnar on Sunday, but he agrees with Heyman. He's the underdog for sure. He's wrong on one thing, though. This isn't a Rocky movie. It's an AJ Styles production. He'll find a way, with the last breath of his body, to beat Brock Lesnar and prove that SmackDown Live is the house that AJ Styles built. A really good promo. I thought it was pretty fun having the Daniel Bryan act as the advocate for Paul Heyman. It was good to see Daniel back. I wasn't sure, when he was going to be back or if he was going to return for Survivor Series or whatnot, since this angle with Kane chokeslamming to the table, which I'm really wondering where it's going to lead to. I know they did it in the dark probably to make it look like it happened. It may not have got all out since, Bryan has his history of concussions. But, I've heard rumors of him trying to get back into the ring. For us, I think he was going to be going away from WWE. But then, some people may seem like here and there he could be cleared and healthy to return to the ring in WWE. We'll see what happens as, it's starting to get to that interesting time of the year. Royal Rumble is 2 months away. WrestleMania season is right around the corner as well. So we'll see what happens. We then had AJ backstage, though. He walks up to Jinder Mahal. I'm thinking, oh, gosh, please don't do it. Please don't have Jinder want to invoke his rematch clause and face him tonight. But he says, when Brock Lesnar is done tearing you apart, no, I'm sorry. Let me fix that. Let me fix this.
when Brock Lesnar is done tearing you apart, he is going to take back what belongs to him and become once again the modern day Maharaja with the WWE Championship.
And Styles is like, yeah, right, and just moves on. And I'm like, not a chance. You're not getting this belt back, buddy, because you suck. You know what? I feel like doing a Rock impression. Except I'm going to, change this up a little bit because I need to add a different voice in there.
Oh, God. I'm Jinder Mahal. I became the Marty Maharaja. I had a great run with the WWE Championship. But the problem was, despite representing my country, everybody still thought that I absolutely suck.
I saw that promo that The Rock cut on Billy Gunn. I just wanted to do an imitation of that really quick. But yes, so Jinder Mahal is not the champion. He didn't invoke his rematch clause tonight. He will not be on Survivor Series Sunday unless he does some type of outside interference. Who knows? But he's probably going to get his rematch probably at the rumored Clash of Champions pay-per-view. I believe it's supposed to be your Clash of Champions or Roadblock. I heard Clash of Champions, though. It's going to be in December. So he'll probably get his rematch against AJ Styles there. But hopefully this is the end of, Jinder Mahal's main event push, as it wasn't really much of a main event because it kind of sucked. And he wasn't felt like it was the main event. But at least it's over. Things are good again. Let's just enjoy this money-making match this Sunday, which is going to be Brock Lesnar and AJ Styles. Now, here's my question I want to ask you guys. What match do you think should be the main event? I think it's going to be I have three choices here. There's going to be a main event. Like one of them I'm pretty sure isn't, which is the Shield and the New Day. But I think that's going to be as a strong case for the main event. The 5-on-5 men's Survivor Series match or Brock Lesnar versus AJ Styles. Which one of those three do you think is going to be the main event? Leave your thoughts down in the comment section or the live chat if you're active right now. But yeah, so then we're going to move on now to the United States Championship match. Baron Corbin taking on Sin Cara. I still don't get why they're all of a sudden giving Sin Cara this push. I heard rumors that he did sign a new contract, so that might be why. I'm not saying he's looking like a joke with this run with Corbin, but it's just the storytelling has just been kind of flat. And I don't know, it's just why are they giving him this big, again, either he's giving him his contract, why are they giving him a big push all of a sudden? They've done nothing with him except, he had a run with the NXT tag title. They should never split him and Kalisto up, or at least put Sin Cara back in the over the Cruiserweight division. Turn him heel, maybe have him feud with Kalisto. I think they could have some good Cruiserweight matches. But this match between them was all right. It wasn't too spectacular, but it wasn't too terrible either. Corbin, won it, of course, with a with the end of days getting the pinfall for the victory. So we're going to still have Baron Corbin taking on The Miz this Sunday, the U.S. champion versus the Intercontinental champion. I still know, a lot of people are like, oh, it's a heel-on-heel match. Like, who actually care about it? I still think it's going to work some way because, The Miz, he's fired shots at Baron Corbin. And so as he fires shots at everyone, he doesn't really make alliances unless he's like desperate for them. It's going to be like a match typical like him and Braun Strowman. So, I'll enjoy, I'm hoping Baron Corbin just, destroys The Miz, which is probably going to happen, and get some more momentum over him as United States champion. But he gets a victory. And then we then had a video package recapping the Under Siege story to date. Talking about what all has happened, with the Under Siege last month, and then with the New Day going to SmackDown. Going to Raw, and distracting Rollins and Ambrose to what's it called? Causing the tag titles, and then that's what caused them to challenge the New Day was the Shield versus the New Day, which again is going to be a good way to get the Shield on pay-per-view as the original Shield and not just against a bunch of random guys. But we know that Raw is going to strike sometime tonight. We knew it was going to happen. And backstage we had Shane and Daniel, backstage, and Shay welcomes him back. And thanks him for supporting SmackDown as always. And then Shane talks about stress cohesion. Brian agrees, which is why he says they have to have a conversation after Survivor Series. How Shane never spoke with him about, attacking Raw the way they did, and he paid the price when he tried to make peace. And then Shane tries to, explain his side, but then Brian tells him he'll see him on Sunday, and then he just leaves. So there's still something going on between Shane and Daniel. We'll have to see what happens going on, but I'm definitely interested in what that could happen. What could happen here? Let's see what happens either at or after Survivor Series. So we'll see what happens next week with that. But that's still kind of interesting what's going on here. And then we had this match. Now the match was good, but what happened after the match was even better. That was a moment. It was Charlotte Flair taking on Natalya for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Charlotte getting her rematch after, Natalya, tried to sneak out of the work her way out of the match with the chair at Hell in a Cell last month. Though Charlotte never got her true match. The match was pretty good. I was surprised though that I was hoping for maybe Natalya threaten Charlotte with the chair again and whatnot. Because after a while she would feel like she wasn't able to beat Charlotte. Besides Charlotte breaking the ropes, coming out of the getting out of the sharpshooter at one point. Especially after the chair, just make it a little more dramatic. Feel like, it's going to end another DQ finish the way it did. But this is a normal match. It went on. Charlotte would eventually get Natalya to tap out with the figure 8. She got into the bridge, and for the first time since one of the Raws after the Royal Rumble, Charlotte Flair is women's champion again. I know, her run. Well, she was gone for 6 weeks to be with her father, Ric Flair, when he was ill and not doing too well. But I wish they would have had something better for Charlotte to do when she wasn't, in the title scene, a non-women's title. But I feel like the length between title reigns, it was all right, and they built her up as a babyface again. I wasn't too keen about it at first, but they've done a good job with it. And I feel like I'm feeling a little bit better about it now. And afterwards, though, Charlotte got on the microphone and she asked for a moment to catch her breath because she's like, "You need to beat the heck out of me." And then she said, "This is all she's wanted every single day ever since the Superstar shakeup." But not just that, she got to win it in her hometown, which not too many people get to win in their hometown. It means a lot there, and the support she got from the crowd. She's going to walk in Survivor Series and make Alexa Bliss bow down to the Queen because he said there was once a Queen of Raw before there was a goddess, and she's going to win it for Team Blue. And then she, talked about her dad, saying how he has been having a hard time the past couple months, and she's seen his ups and downs because I know he couldn't be here tonight, but I know he's watching at home, doing what he does every single Tuesday night, watching SmackDown live, and this is for you, Daddy. Woo! So then she started to go up the ramp. It's about halfway up when all of a sudden a different song was on, similar to hers. And it sure was the return of the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. The first time we've seen him also since it was announced he was hospitalized. So it was good to see him back. Him and Charlotte have that moment together where they, celebrate together. Father and daughter just have just a great moment between them. And of course, it made a change to the Survivor Series that made me a little more excited. Of course, seeing Alexa Bliss taking on Charlotte and not Alexa and Natalya, because again, Natalya was good wrestling wise with the title, but the story line wise and her promos, they were just awful. So I think it was better off to have Charlotte taking on Alexa, a fresh matchup. It should be a lot of fun. I look forward to seeing it on Sunday. So that's what raised my excitement as well for Survivor Series, is getting that match changed. So, but yeah, a great moment between Ric Flair and Charlotte as well. And congratulations, Charlotte, on now becoming trying to think now, how many times she won the championship now? She got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think she's a 5-time champion now, 5 or 6. I can't remember. Remind me down in the comments. How many times has Charlotte won the championship? Robbie in the live chat. Robbie, one Kenobi, baby. What's up, Robbie? Good to hear from you, man. But yes, we got that. And then we had a Bludgeon Brothers vignette. This is typical stuff. But then after it was done, it said next week they will be making their debut. So we didn't wait 17 weeks. But the Bludgeon Brothers will be on SmackDown Live next week. We'll see their debut. We'll see what happens. Maybe they'll be revealed to be the ones who, has been doing all this nonsense with the Fashion Police. We just haven't seen them for a few weeks. But, at this point, who cares? They dragged on it too long. As long as that ends, we're moving on now. That's all that matters. But, yeah, we'll see what happens with the Bludgeon Brothers when they debut next week. And then we had a match. It was Chad Gable taking on Jimmy Uso. Pretty much payback for, Chad Gable taking out the knee of Jimmy Uso last week. 5-time women's champion. Thank you, Robbie. I couldn't remember if it was 5 or 6. But the Usos come out and they cut a promo about how last year's Survivor Series it came down to the Usos on SmackDown and the Bar on Raw, and it's that way again this year. And Cesaro's mouthpiece won't protect the Swiss Superman when he gets kicked with his kryptonite. And what they say about Sheamus is true. He does look stupid. They've lied every tag team up and knocked them down. Don't believe them? Ask the Hype Bros, the Ascension, Breezango, looking over at Gable and Benjamin saying American Alpha 2, New Day, and the Bar after this Sunday. Welcome to the Uso Penitentiary. And the match between Jimmy and Chad wasn't too bad. I thought it was a good match. These two worked well together. I keep saying I'm still confused though. Are the Usos now face and Gable and Benjamin heel? Because they didn't really full out do it, but it seems like it's been a slow turn. And I just don't know who to consider the face or the heel. I mean, it seemed like they did somewhat turn face the Usos when they did the Us Truce after Hell in a Cell. So I'm still a little confused as far as that goes, but we'll see. Again, we'll see what happens. As we're going to get more into nitty gritty when it leads to the Clash of Champions pay-per-view in December. So we'll probably get our answer then, whether who's the face and who's the heel. Also, the Usos are briefly acting as faces to take on the Bar. But, we'll see what happens. The match was pretty good. Again, I feel like, if Gable and Benjamin are turning heel, and with, Gable constantly targeting the knee, it would make sense for Gable to say, he's getting his revenge after they, got revenge after they took out his knee back when the Usos turned heel back in September 2016. That costed them their his and Jason Jordan's opportunity at the inaugural SmackDown tag titles last year. So as I said last week, that makes sense to do so. The match was good. The win came after Shelton Benjamin tried to cause a distraction, but then Jey Uso knocked him down. And then Gable pushed Jey off the apron, but then that was caused a distraction for Jimmy to get a super kick on him and get the pinfall victory. So, this is a way to, get the Usos ready for their match Sunday against the Bar, and for, to continue the storyline with them and Gable and Benjamin. So we'll see where this goes after Survivor Series. So then we have backstage Sami Zayn hanging out in the locker room with Kevin Owens, and he asked what's wrong. And Sami says everybody's talking about A shows and B shows, but he's like, I can't even bother to care because they're not on Survivor Series. And of course, they again blame Shane McMahon, saying they have something against them, and they should be the ones fighting the Shield, and there's no one better than them. The only show that matters, though, is the Sami and Kevin show. And then Sami corrects him and says it's the Kevin and Sami show. Pretty much, just like, showing each other, like, hey, I got your back, like, and whatnot. Oh, and Robbie asked me that you got to say Shelton Benjamin how the Usos say it. Shelton Benjamin. Anything for you, Robbie. Anything for you, my friend. So then the New Day make their entrance into the ring. They talk about how they're going to compete against the Shield. And they said the Shield have 13 title reigns, but between them, they got like 27, as Big E says. Most of them by Kofi, because he is just that good. But they talk about it's the House of Justice versus the Unicorns of WWE. And then Kofi's like, why would you call yourselves dogs? Because they eat poop. As a cat that can't disagree with this, dogs are gross, as it says part of the season on my notes right here that I have. The unicorns, they're mysterious and magical, but the New Day can also trust each other. They've never turned their backs on each other, where the Shield, they've done it before, and everybody they're back together because it's cuffing season. And when it gets warm again and Mania season comes around, they won't be a team anymore, but the New Day will be. And that could be pretty much true. I don't really think the Shield reunion is going to last, that long down the line, which is why again I put in for a Shield T-shirt, which according to last I tracked is supposed to be arriving by the end of the day on Thursday. Again, I look forward to making some other type of sick-looking unboxing video. I still gotta think of it though. But at Survivor Series, they're going to be the only team with true brotherhood, and that would never betray each other at the end. Why? Because New Day rocks. And then when we get back from commercial break, it has hype for Kalisto's birthday party or whatever it is on 205 Live. Again, I'm not watching 205 Live right now, but while I'm here, I will tweet Kalisto really quick. Live here on Twitter. Kalisto, happy birthday. It's there. I tweeted Kalisto happy birthday, showing my giving him my thoughts, but I was not going to watch 205 Live tonight. So Kalisto, again, happy birthday. Enjoy your birthday. But then we had the match, the main event. It was the New Day, which ended up being a team of Big E and Xavier Woods, taking on a team of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. The match, went on for a little bit, but it didn't seem like it really got into, the next year or so now. But it was more so just an angle, just a setup of what was eventually going to happen. You knew what was going to happen. The crowd was already turning around and cheering 5 minutes before this actually happened. The Shield's music hit later in the match. And we heard Sierra Hotel, India, Ego Lima, Delta Shield. And the Shield comes down, and they're wearing half Shield shirts, half Raw shirts. And then they and New Day and Owens seemed to, form an alliance in the ring. But when the Shield got up, Owens and Zayn are just like, screw this. I don't want any part of this. And they roll out of the ring, go away. And this is what starts, Raw wrecking havoc on SmackDown, retaliating after SmackDown put them under siege last month. So again, as I said before, this was not really, something that surprised me. It was kind of a little predictable. I wish we would have done something sooner. I heard rumors that they wanted to wait until Roman Reigns was ready. But again, it was still fun to watch, and I enjoyed it. The Shield, was just attacking the New Day. The Usos came right now, and I don't know if you guys noticed, but I noticed, they made eye contact with Roman Reigns. It's like, my family, I can't beat you up. But then, Rollins and Ambrose, just ran in front of him, screw this, and just started beating the crap out of the Usos. And then, the Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro came running through the crowd and came in and started attacking as well. And then backstage, the Raw women's division, well, it was the 5 women from Raw and Alexa Bliss made their way to the women's locker room, and they started beating down on the SmackDown women. And then, of course, Charlotte Flair was caught in between all of them, and then Alexa Bliss comes out from behind and has a knockout forearm on her. And speaking of the women also, after Charlotte won the match tonight, it was shown, that, it was going to be, the 5 women from Raw against 4 women and a mystery opponent from SmackDown. Now, if it was going to be Natalya, why did they right away not, just say, oh, Natalya's going to be taking Charlotte's place? But, what if it's okay, Natalya lost the title, so we're not going to just give you a consolation prize by having you represent Team SmackDown. So my thoughts are, Robbie in the live chat says, Mike, remember my idea of Shield versus Team New Day Usos? Looks like we're going to get something similar on Sunday. That is true. Would have been nice, though, to have if that was the 5-on-3 match they had at TLC. The Shield taking on New Day Usos, the 5-on-3 match that way. It could have been cool. Yeah, I would have loved to have seen that. But getting back to this, there was a mystery opponent now for the women's SmackDown team. So here's the thing. I thought Paige was going to be returning last night to Raw because I felt it was just weird. They just did a triple threat match where Bayley could have just been added to the team last week on Raw. Instead, they had her face Mickie James and Dana Brooke, which, Mickie James deserved a shot. But, Bayley just won, and that was it. I did hear a rumor that apparently Paige already has heat on her again because I guess she posted some photo with her and Alicia Fox on Instagram. I don't know. But, my thing is, like, Paige could still be going to SmackDown. As it was rumored before, the release is that Paige was supposed to return but go to SmackDown, and she would debut there. And also, I kept saying something, well, why didn't she come back, when we were in England? Well, I heard rumors that she's going to be returning as a heel, which I think could be good. I'd like to see Paige have a little bit more of a lengthy run as a heel than a baby face, since most of her heel runs have been short and her face runs have been longer. I mean, I know she's loved, she's definitely a fan favorite, but I think that to make things a little more interesting, give her a good lengthy heel run when she comes back. So I'm very interested to see that. But it could be Paige, it could be Natalya after all, or it could be Nikki Bella returning, and she has not been seen since John Cena proposed to her back at WrestleMania 33 in her mixed tag match against the Miz and Maurice. It could be maybe Ember Moon coming from NXT, because if Ember doesn't win the title, I mean, I know I've talked about maybe they'll turn Ember heel because she's frustrated. She's still gonna come up to the main roster. I mean, I think she's ready, really. If she's not gonna get the title, then what else is there really for her to do down in NXT? I mean, she could probably have like a heel feud with like Kairi Sane or Nikki Cross before she comes up possibly, but I think she's a possibility also. But I think the favorite, though, is definitely Paige. We'll see what happens on Sunday at Survivor Series. Will Paige make her return and be on SmackDown? If not, then there's rumors that she could return on Raw, probably the Raw after Survivor, but she apparently is ready. So we'll see what happens there. But anyways, getting back to this, that they beat down on the women, and then get back to the ring. They have not everybody from Raw and SmackDown came down to take place in this brawl. Just some superstars, and it was rounded out by for Raw. Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, Apollo Crews, and Titus O'Neil came down, and then Shane McMahon came out with a bunch of SmackDown guys, mainly the guys who are it was mainly him. I don't remember if I saw Orton. I remember seeing Nakamura and Bobby Roode. Dolph Ziggler, I remember seeing the Hype Brothers were there as well. And then things just got strong. All of a sudden, you hear, "Roar!" No, I'm sorry. "Roar!" And Kurt Angle was staying at the ramp, pretty much saying, "Come on, Braun, let's do this." So pretty much showing that they're all on the same page. And Braun comes out here and he takes out the Hype Bros, gets in the ring. He he takes out Nakamura. And then Shane tries to fight off Strowman, but he doesn't get anywhere, and Shane gets knocked out, and then the Raw pretty much hands him off to the Shield, and they just grab him to shove him onto the ropes. And I like this. Like, I know the Shield meant to be the baby face, but this reminded me of the heel Shield, like when they first came up before they turned face. It just brought me back to 2013 Shield, and then being in 2014 before they turned face. It was showing see, and Dean Ambrose was really embracing that mean side in him. Like, that's why I'm saying he's really going to nail it when he turns heel, probably in the next month or two, probably, if they are going to do a match between him and Seth Rollins, the roles reversed at WrestleMania, which would be epic. But Dean Ambrose, especially back in this element as well. And that was the Shield I really missed as well. They just showed, and they were just other people, Samoa Joe, Braun Strowman, Sheamus and Cesaro just get their hands on Shane and just showing him everything that that they can. And they showed Joe breaking Francesca and hitting Big E in the back with it, and then the Shield hold up Shane as Kurt Angle gets in the ring to stare him down and get into his face, and just grab him and start saying, "This is how it feels. You like how this feels, whatnot?" And he said, "Just if you think this is bad, just you wait until Sunday." And then Kurt does the thumbs down, and then the first of the triple power bombs. They hit a triple power bomb. Now, I thought that was cool, but I'm still thinking, oh, come on now. I wanted to see Kurt Angle put him in the ankle lock because, the pressure's on him. He's the biggest stake in this match because, I mean, it's still confusing, which team to cheer for, but the biggest thing at stake here is Kurt Angle's career. Now, I don't want to see Kurt Angle's career end, but I still love Team SmackDown as well. So I don't know who I'm going to root for this Sunday, I'm going to pick the win. I'll decide I want to do my top 10 topic show, which I'll probably try to record that after I do this review. But, he goes feeds a triple power bomb, but then Kurt Angle takes off his suit jacket and he hits Shane with the angle slam because again his career's on the line. He has to do whatever it takes to save his career. And then Braun gets into the ring, and then but he just pretty much endorses the Shield, telling him to do it again, and yet another triple power bomb, and then that's how we go off the show. So Raw retaliated again. I wish I could have done like something a little bit sooner. This as a go home show was great. The ending was better than the go home edition of Raw, but Raw was still good. But SmackDown Live was still phenomenal, and it is the house that AJ Styles built. Where am I blue? I've survived. Well, I have survived the Build to Survivor series, and now can look forward to it this Sunday. I'll be watching with my friends Daniel Gaiza, a couple of my other friends. It's going to be a blast. I'm going to watch the NXT TakeOver War Games this Saturday night. It's going to be a great weekend. But first, as always, let me check the polls on Twitter and see, what grade would the grade for SmackDown and what show do you prefer more this week. Wow, this is weird. So my poll for what grade we have SmackDown tonight only got 3 votes. 2 of them said A, and 1 said D. But I got 16 votes for which show do you enjoy more this week, Raw or SmackDown Live. 16 votes, 50-50. 50% liked Raw better, 50% liked SmackDown better. If I give this show a grade, this SmackDown Live a grade, it was tough. Because really, everything felt like it mattered. I know it wasn't, astronomically amazing. Like, not everything was like, money-making match. It wasn't WrestleMania 17 or anything all over again. But I thought it was a really, really good show. One of the better shows, SmackDown Live. That's why I'm going to give this show, SmackDown Live, an A-. An A-, strong go-home show. One of the best ones of the year. I loved it. What are your thoughts on SmackDown Live? Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. And be sure, as always, to click that like and subscribe for more content to come to this channel. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at DemandAirboy93. I will be recording my top 10 topics show after this. Hopefully get that up on YouTube sometime tomorrow. I'm working, a little bit of a side gig this week, a couple days a week. So I'm going to try to, get the stuff up as possible. I'm almost done with WrestleMania 19. I'll maybe finish watching that tonight, and maybe get that review up tomorrow as well as my NXT review. I'll do that tomorrow. Any other WrestleMania reviews, and then this weekend again, if I don't do a review with any of my Horseman brothers for NXT TakeOver War Games or Survivor Series, I will definitely do one on this channel, and then we'll be right back here next week for Raw and SmackDown and NXT reviews as well, leading up to Thanksgiving. Gobble gobble. But yes, that is it, guys. Thank you again for watching the show. This was awesome. This show in general was just great as well. I loved it. Again, subscribe to the channel, like the video, follow me on Twitter, DemandAirboy93. Just stay tuned for more to come to this channel, and enjoy Survivor Series and NXT TakeOver War Games this Sunday. And until then, guys, I will see you all later. Have a good night.